So it's Friday, it's you hangout time, and today I'm joined with Markus Johansson. Johansson, is that correct, Markus?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Markus Johansson, how we say it in Swedish, but I like it. It's working. Yeah.
Good, good. So you're best probably known as the newsletter studio guy, aren't you?
Yeah, Umbraco community. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Maybe your friends and family call you that as well, but
Yeah, they do.
But as always, before we kind of get started for demos and things like that, it's always good to kind of get an understanding and kind of background of how you got involved with Umbraco. So I'll hand it over to you, and kind of you can tell us a little bit more about yourself, Markus.
Yeah, of course. It actually started out like 2007 or 2008 or something like that. I was looking for a new CMS on the .NET platform, and I was looking at the .NET Nuke, and I thought it was really hard to work with, you know.
Oh, the portal framework.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then some guy from Malmö, which is a Swedish city in the south of Sweden. It's just a couple of kilometers from Copenhagen. He said you should look at Umbraco.
So did you drive over the bridge then? And
no, I actually used the internet to download the version of Umbraco. I didn't have to go there to get it. So I tried it, and at first I was a little bit afraid of the XSLT things, because that was the only thing that you could do.
Yeah, back in the day, like you say, around 2007, 2008, it was XSLT heavy. That was the only kind of option.
I bought those books, that I'm using now for my fire in my summer house. XSLT. No, thank God for Razer, but that was fun, and it was really fast, and you had total control over the markup, and that's why I felt in love with Umbraco.
So did you come from a kind of a front end perspective then? If you're talking about you was kind of passionate about the markup and things like that, is that something that you've come from then, or have you always been kind of a front end or a back end, or have you kind of been a mix of both?
I think I would describe myself as a mix of both, actually. Yeah, in periods a lot of back end, and then in periods a lot of front end.
Okay.
So it's really, yeah.
Hello.
But like you say, it's nice that Umbraco kind of allows you, allows you to do these things and have total control over your markup. So
yeah,
really, I think that's probably one of the key features of Umbraco.
Yeah, it really is. Especially back then, when there was only web forms, and you had the view state and all this stuff that you could get rid of using Umbraco. So that was
So you're gonna show us a demo of Newsletter Studio, yes?
Yeah, exactly.
So you've ported it to version 7?
Yeah, that's what I did. Newsletter Studio has been out for like 3 years now, or something like that.
Okay.
And we had a version for Umbraco 4, and then Umbraco 6, and now Umbraco 7. I guess we're one of the first packages that's just been totally rewritten for 7.
So you've kind of gone with the approach of kind of rewriting the entire code base for your version 7 package. I know people like Richard Soderman maybe have a slightly different approach in terms of trying to write a code base that's kind of works for all versions as best as possible. So version 4, version 6, version 7.
Yeah.
So you've gone with the approach of it's a total new UI, and that you kind of want to start again as such.
It's a rewrite in the terms that it's no more web forms. It's Angular views, and the UI is rewritten, but we still have the same data layer. And,
okay, so like the business logic underneath.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there hasn't been a huge changes to those parts, but it's more like the UI things that changed.
Okay, so do you want to share your screen? And for the people who haven't seen Newsletter Studio, just give us a quick demo of what it can and can't do.
I would love to do that.
Awesome.
First of all, so just to talk about Newsletter Studio, it's a newsletter package that you install into Umbraco. So it becomes a custom section. So you can actually find it here in the menu bar. So we'll have Newsletter Studio here on your screen. And it's integrated, and it feels and looks like was a natural part of Umbraco, which is one of the key benefits here, so that your editors don't have to use a lot of different systems.
Yeah, so they don't have to kind of log out and use MailChimp, or I can't think of any other kind of newsletter management services at the minute. But it's nice that you're kind of uniform and logged into Umbraco, and you can kind of manage I suppose, your newsletters from here. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. You can manage the newsletters, and you can also use the fact that you're using the same system has a lot of benefits when it comes to, mailing lists and stuff. If you want to, you can hook into the members section if there's something you would like to do, so you can have send to the members of your site or something like that. So I'm going to show you a couple of other ways to extend the package as well, but so it's integrated with the website, which has some benefits, of course.
Okay.
So I thought I'm going to show you the not the elevator demo, because I don't bring the laptop in the elevator a lot, but
hopefully not.
I'm going to show you some of the basic features here and how it works. So this is this is how it looks when you install the package. So you see a dashboard here, and the first thing that you would probably want to do is to have some subscribers or people to send your newsletter to. And if you have an existing list of people, you can just go into the mailing list folder here. There's a default one. You can create you can create new ones if you want to. It's really simple, just add one here. But I'm quite happy with the default list here. So what you can do is that you can manually add someone here, but that will probably take you a couple of years to add all your customers.
That could be pretty dope.
Yeah. So what you can do is to go to the action menu here and use the import feature instead. And there's a couple of ways to do this. You could either just paste stuff here.
So I presume if I've got something like a CSV or an Excel sheet or something similar, I can get it in this format and then paste it in?
Yeah. So this is one way that you can do it. You can just paste all the subscribers here and use the import feature, and it will detect that, oh, well, it's something wrong here. You need to fix this.
Okay, that's awesome. So if it notices there's an @ sign missing or it's not a valid email, does it check for things like duplicates as well? So if I've...
it does, but not here. This is all happening in the UI, and when I click Save here, it's going to check for duplicates as well. But it's not doing that in that step, but it will check for duplicates.
So when I get to the next step, it then goes and checks that these users are not already been imported before.
Exactly. Yeah, so if I go here again to the action menu, I can also use the other feature, which is importing a file.
Oh, awesome.
So I do have a demo file here, of course, which is just, it's email address, the name of the person, and then their email address.
Yeah.
So it's really just select the file format, and then import them. And as you can see here, found 21 duplicates, so it will handle the duplicates as well.
No, that's fantastic.
And then if you want to edit something, well, you can just double-click on the row and then change that name here and save it. So
what was just go back? What was the drop down for the far left? So when you was editing a row?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So there was like an added column or something.
Yeah. So this is actually, if you hover the blue little dot here, it says added. That means that this person has been added to the list, but we have never tried to send something to this guy, so we don't know the status of him yet.
Ah, okay. So you can check if it's like a bounce back or they've decided to unsubscribe.
Yeah, so if someone unsubscribed, for example, you will get a red, orange button, or if there's a bounce, you will get a red one. So you can always distinguish those here.
Okay, so you can always ensure that your list is kind of up to date and you're not trying to send emails out to people who, one, the email doesn't exist or decided to unsubscribe it for whatever reason.
Exactly, yeah. So you can just keep the list here and it will always be up to date. So if someone unsubscribes, it will be reflected here as well, of course. So next thing I want to show you is how to create a newsletter. So you can either just right-click and choose Create here, or you can use the Create button from the dashboard and just create the letter here. And it will show you a view where you can start to type whatever content you would like here, and there's also just some presets for the sender name and email and stuff like that. So that's all in the settings, so you don't have to think about that. And what you can do here is you can start from scratch, if you say, or you can use a predefined template. So we have a template feature here where you can just insert content from a HTML template, and
Okay.
these ones are all configurable. So let's say that we want to have this layout for the newsletter. I'll just insert that here, and I'll have a template to start from.
Awesome. So that's kind of just grabbing the markup from that template, and then I can just overtype as such and insert images and links and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just a simple way to have some kind of starting layout. So you can imagine that you can create 1 or 2 templates for your customer that they can start from.
Yeah.
And they are all in. If we go to the Umbraco installation where Newsletter Studio lives right now, you have a app plugins folder. And then in the Newsletter Studio folder, there's a folder called templates, which is just these files here as regular HTML files.
Okay, so they're not C# views or anything like that. They're just static, flat HTML files.
Yeah, that's right. So, and then you can just start to insert content here. We have a merge field content, which means merge field feature. So you can just like insert the name of the person here, or you can. There's also a menu option here to insert a newsletter merge field. So
okay, I was going to say, was there some kind of UI to kind of help us?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, so you can just insert it like that, and then it will be replaced with the email. And the good thing here is that you can always, like, if you want to have this part of the text linking to something on your website, you can just use the regular content picker from Umbraco and say, I want to link to this product page.
Yeah.
So it's really straightforward, and you can use media as well, images and PDFs or whatever you would like to link to.
Yeah.
And we could preview this here, and you'll see that these merge fields will be replaced.
Yeah.
And, this looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Let's
So we do have a feature as well. If we just go into the settings here, we have a feature where we add Google Analytics tracking to all the links. So if you just click this little checkbox and save, we will actually also add Google Analytics tracking to.
Okay, so I can track the inbound clicks coming from the newsletter. So I can say if this link is goes to the product page or a specific product page, I can know if that's come in from a specific newsletter campaign. Yeah,
exactly. We do have click tracking in the package out of the box, but this is something Google Analytics specific. They add this part to the URL so that you can, inside of Google Analytics, like track where do your traffic come from, and you can even, if you're using funnels and stuff for a web shop, for example, you can just see that the guys from the newsletter, they bought a lot of stuff here, So this is just a simple way to add that if you want to.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
This is one way of working. I'm going to show you the feature here as well. There's something called skins here.
Okay.
Which is basically the content from this rich text editor here, the HTML from here, will actually be merged into this little skin here, and will replace this content placeholder there. So this means that you can make a template with surrounding stuff. Like in this example, it's a lot of presets for like.
I suppose like a logo and things like that, and kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So if you look at this one, for example, if we choose this newsletter here, it has some people jumping around and some text, and if we preview that right now, it looks like this. Not so very nice.
Yeah.
So I did prepare a responsive version of the newsletter here. So just grab that HTML file and go over to the app plugins folder, Newsletter Studio, and then in the skins folder here, just paste that here, and then go back to the UI and refresh, and we'll have the responsive template here as well now.
Okay.
I can go back to this and change the template, and now it looks a lot better and it's
fantastic
and stuff like that, So you can use most of the time you only need to have one template, but you could have multiple if you wanted to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Let me just add a link or two here. You can also add, like, if you want to make it possible to unsubscribe for the user, which is fair.
Yeah.
You can choose insert a link to unsubscribe, and then you can say.
Excellent. So they can just directly click the link and automatically unsubscribe.
Exactly. So from here, let's say that this is our really good-looking newsletter, and we are happy with this, and the designer is happy as well, and everybody just want to send this out. So we're going to the send options button here, and we will see a viewer. You can choose from 3 different things. You can either send a test email, you can choose to send it right away, or you can schedule the send out for later. So if we start with the sending out a test email, I'm using a little utility here called PaperCut. I don't know if you have used it. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, well, we use it internally here as our local SMTP dev server. Yeah.
It's just a little utility that acts as a SMTP server. So let's send this as an email here. So PaperCut will pick it up, and this is how it would look. So this little client don't have support for the responsive stuff, but I hope you can.
Yeah, no, we can see that. Yeah.
So if we go over to the send right away button, because we think this looks really good, and here I can choose from the different mailing lists that I have.
Yeah.
I can also send to Umbraco members. So this is the member groups here from this website.
Okay.
And you can also extend this with your own lists. So you can just make a little class that fetches those subscribers.
Okay.
Yeah. But for now, let's just send to our default list that we imported. So I'm just clicking on the send now button and confirming, and then the send out will start. And
so if the list is particularly big, is it asynchronous, or will it just kind of do it in the background? So if I send in a massive list, I don't know, thousands or whatever, I don't know why, but
yeah, it's asynchronous. Yeah, it is. So you can actually, if it's a long list, you can actually just do something else on the website while it's sending. So you don't have
excellent.
to wait.
That was kind of my main request. I don't have to stay on that page for it in order to kind of finish sending.
No, you don't have to. No. So from now, I can just go into PaperCut here and just see those emails that we did send out. And as you can see, they look good here, and I can click on the links as well and just come to this page. I can also use the link for unsubscribing here, which didn't work for some reason. I don't know why. But I guess it's the demo ghost. Anyway, that's worked. So if we go back here into our analytics, after clicking around and opening stuff, it's updating here, so I can see that, well, I did click those links, and I have a little chart here that shows how many people that did open it during specific hours. Okay,
so you can see if, the time of day in terms of when it was opened and things like that.
Yeah, I can even drill down to, like, if I want to see those 8 people here.
Okay, so you could do potentially follow up on a lead. So you could someone has opened the email and clicked on a specific, I don't know, special offer. And they didn't buy the special offer for whatever reason. You could maybe contact them directly to find out why, maybe.
Exactly, and as you can see here, you can just click on this person to see when they opened the email and when did they click the link. So you can try to figure out, did they read something or what happened? Yeah, and then they clicked this link. So. Okay,
that's really nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that you can do here.
So long and short of it is.
You can also. Of course, when you're in here, you can just search if there's some special guy that you're interested in, like this guy.
Yeah.
Open, but so you can drill around here a lot. So this is like the basics of how it works, and there's another feature as well, which makes it possible for you to just, if you would like to hide the newsletter application and just send from. Use your content instead as the content for the newsletter. So let's say that we have a newsletter part on our website. So this is the website that we're running right now.
Okay.
So it has some newsletters here, which contains a list of 2 newsletters, and then this newsletters contain some content. It doesn't really look so very good here, but
no, that's fine.
So let's say that we would like to have this content sent as a newsletter. It's really simple to achieve that. What we do is that we have a document, a property editor that lets you send the newsletter, send this node as a newsletter.
Okay.
So this is actually a regular document type called newsletter with a tab and this property editor, where you can just send or schedule this node to be sent out as a newsletter.
Okay, so is it just grabbing the output of the HTML? So so if I've got macros on that page, and if
exactly.
I've got so whatever gets rendered out as if I was viewing the site is what gets sent out in an email?
Exactly, almost exactly.
Okay.
The only difference is that if you want to, which you probably want, you can override, because if you look at this node here, it's using a template called newsletter, which of course has the menu here.
Yeah, I don't particularly want to send that out.
No, exactly. So that's why if you add a template called newsletter, of course, and then add the newsletter after. So this is not so very. I could have had a better example, but you have to postfix it with newsletter. Then it will use this template instead.
Okay.
This is what it will use while it's sending the newsletter. So it's just a simple template with some razor stuff, and it's rendering out those boxes here. So this is actually built with boxes. You know, this is an image, and then you have some text here, an image. So this is, and that's how it's just stacked with different types of content. So it's harder for the editor to make mistakes here.
Okay.
So what you can do is just to send this stuff as a newsletter.
That's really neat. So you don't have to kind of duplicate the content again and again.
Nope. No, you can just use the content as you like, and then it will send it like this.
Oh, awesome.
And if I have prepared it here, but when it's sent out, it's going to show you the analytics here as well. So this is a newsletter that I prepared and did send.
Okay, so after I've sent it, that tab on the node turns into the statistics straight away.
Yeah. Yes. That's
awesome.
That's right. So it's a really simple way to add this newsletter features to an Umbraco site.
Yeah. No, that's a really fantastic demo.
That's like the basic overview of the biggest features.
So how do I go and configure it? Do I have to run my own mail server? What do I do? What do I have to do?
If you have a SMTP server, you could use your own server. I mean, it depends, but there's services out there like Mailgun and Mailchimp has their own called Mandrill.
Yeah.
And you have SendGrid and a lot of SMTP relay services that you can use. That's really good to use. But
okay, so you'd recommend using those over running your own local host or running your your own SMTP server on the web server?
No, exactly. Yeah, it's probably better to use a service. But if you don't want to, or if you have your own mail server, your own infrastructure, you can just use that.
Okay.
So, it's really up to you. You just configure it here, and you can have multiple SMTP servers as well if you want to. So it will jump between those and send both of them.
Okay.
So it's configurable in that manner. There's a lot of different settings that you can do. We probably don't have to go into detail about that.
Yeah, no, I presume the documentation kind of covers this on the website.
Yeah, it does. It does, and. I'd rather show you this little picture here, which is a little overview of how it works.
Okay.
So in the middle here we have the newsletter studio, and it's using something that we call subscriber providers or subscription providers. So when you saw the little all these options here, these lists here, there's actually two different providers. This is one provider, and this is one provider.
So I could create my own provider that would help populate those lists.
Yeah, that's totally doable. And then it fetches those and starts the rendering process, which is a process where it goes through small classes called render tasks. that interacts with the content of the newsletter and does different stuff. So one thing is to add click tracking. Another thing could be to add the Google Analytics tracking. All these things are small individual classes, and you can also add your own classes to this chain here if you want to.
Okay.
So there's actually those two big parts where you can extend the package if you want to.
No. I mean, what
I don't know. Do you want to see some examples of how it would look?
Yeah, definitely. Let's take a look.
Yeah. So I do have a little customer subscription provider. So this is how a subscription provider would look. So it's actually inheriting from subscription provider base and implementing a countable interface, which basically means that it'll show the count here, and if if it doesn't implement the countable, it doesn't show the count. So it's kind of hard to figure out the count of Umbraco members due to the API restrictions.
It's always difficult initially.
So there's a lot of stuff that you just have to fill out here, but the most important things is this method, get list items, which is basically these three. So these three are list items.
Okay, so these are kind of the options that I want to send to.
Exactly. So you can have one, or you can have 5 or 20. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then
so that might come from a custom CRM implementation that already exists. So you might have CRM data in another service or another external source. You could write this provider to go and get those kind of groups in your CRM to kind of send emails to those specific groups from the CRM.
Exactly. I have a customer here in Sweden who wrote to me today. He said that he was making a subscription provider who was talking to their MongoDB with their store, all their customers. So, I mean, this is a static implementation, but this could totally be dynamic content from whatever you would like.
Yeah.
And then, depending on the value here, so let's say that you select this item here in the list, we will just pass that value to the get subscribers for sendout, and here in this little method, you would have to figure out which people to return, which emails to return to newsletter.
Okay, so you need to generate a list of receivers, it's saying, objects, which is their name, their email, and the data provider key. What's that?
That's something that we have if you want to go back. Let's say that you're using that's actually the ID from the data provider. So depending on it's some kind of unique ID for this.
Okay, so it's just an identifier.
Yeah, exactly. So you can use it later in other parts. It will be stored in Newsletter Studio as well.
Okay.
So this is like the simplest way that you can implement a subscription provider. And there's some other stuff here as well, like this one to get the count. So obviously, if you don't have the iCountable interface implemented, you don't have to have this method. But if you do have it, it's gonna need an int with a count.
Okay.
The list item here.
So the override for unsubscribe, is that saying that this email address or this person in this list is able to unsubscribe from this list?
No, it's actually just a dirty hack. You should probably have some logic to unsubscribe this guy here.
Okay.
From this list. Yeah. So it's a little dirty implementation. Or it's just saying
demo
purposes. Don't care. Yeah. So this is really simple. And then the other thing that I was talking about. So this is the subscription provider, obviously. And the other thing that I was talking about is the render tasks here, which, if we look in the configuration for Newsletter Studio, which is in the config folder, by the way, it looks like this. So it's actually configured with all these render tasks. So the core features of Newsletter Studio is built with these extension points. So, like the tracking pixel, adding the template around, everything that happens during the rendering process is done with render tasks.
So I could write my own custom rendering task and do something that tracks their location or something similar?
Yeah, you could do whatever you would like. Or you could do, like in this example, we have a web shop here returning a lot of customers. And I think I did this when we were in Belgium. So basically, this is when they placed their last order. So you could potentially create a render task that would replace a discount placeholder with a discount. Depending on how long ago they placed the order, they can have different percentage
that's
of
really
discount.
nice.
So that's one idea how you could use this. Yeah, this is a simple render task here. So you can, in this process pre-render method, you have the chance to do something global with all versions of the email, and then for each unique subscriber, it will go, or receiver, it's going to go through this method. So here you have the ability to make something personalized in this method.
Yeah, that's really, really nice, and nice and powerful that it's so pluggable.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that people do that I never thought you could do. Like, we do this thing, and I was like, oh, that's true. That's doable. So when you're ready with those render tasks, the only thing that you need to do to like activate them is to add some simple configuration. I've prepared it here, but I mean, to get this up and running, first of all, the subscriber, you just add that, the type here, the class name, and the same thing for the render task. So I haven't really spent a lot of time on implementing a UI for this, because I mean, this is something that you just do once and
yeah, it's not something you're going to do often. Yeah, you're going to set it up once and then just forget about it.
Exactly. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So if it works, you should probably see our new provider here. Yeah. So as you can see here, it's slowly picking it up directly.
Yeah, fantastic.
You choose those here, and you would also, if we were to use that in here and just add the discount placeholder. If we go ahead and send this to all our customers, it will use the render task as well, and then present different discounts
depending on how long ago. So yeah, you got 30% and 10%. So
yeah. So that's the only thing right now. It's not so advanced, but you get the concept.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand the use case and the reason why you'd want to do something like that.
Yeah, so that's what you can. That's what's in the box. What you can do, and then your imagination is the only limitation.
Yeah, no, fantastic. So can I extend the kind of the statistics as well? Is that possible?
You could. There's no like really good extension points at the moment, but I mean, if you would like to change something, it's probably doable. But there's no really not a thought out story for that. So the data, all the data is in the database. I mean, you can do whatever you would like with the data. But if you would want to have it inside of the newsletter package or like the UI, you would probably have to change some of the files or something like that.
Okay. No, it was only because I think it looks really fantastic, and not the one thing that's missing, but the one thing that would be interesting for me, saying if I was sending out a newsletter for You Hangout, I would want to know geographically where the subscriber is based.
Mm-hmm.
So where did they open the newsletter from? Was it mainly my target audience is mainly the UK because I'm based in the UK, or was it mainly that most of the States is interested in what I'm saying? So that's something that would be of interest to me. Hence me talking about is there an extension point that I could probably add this in?
At the moment, there's really no extension point inside of the tracking, which is a good idea. That's something that we could probably think about in the future.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's apart from that, it looks fantastic. So is it a paid-for package, I presume, just because of the amount of effort has gone into this? This looks fantastic. I doubt this is free.
Yeah, no, it's almost free. It's 1 hour of work. No, it costs 190 euros. So
that's a bargain price.
It's,
so the amount of effort that you would try and implement this yourself, you would never be able to do that in the same amount of time it costs you in dev hours. So yeah, 200 euros is a fantastic price.
Yeah,
119 euros.
Yeah, 119. Yeah, so thanks a lot. I can raise the price now. Then I'll do that right away.
Just the Warren price.
So it's not that expensive. No, it's not.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I guess that's like how it works, and Do we have any time? No.
Yeah, we've probably got about 5 to 10 minutes, and we've got a few questions come in as well. So if there's anything else you want to do, now's the time.
No, I did prepare some stuff that I learned, but let's have some questions instead.
Yeah. So let's jump over, and as always, Ravi always chimes in. He goes, "Can I send to multiple lists at once?"
Yeah. Of course you can. You just have to select them.
Okay, cool.
So as you can see here, if I go to the send up options, it's just select all of these if I would like to, and then click send.
So I could send you to all of them all at once.
Yeah, and we will make sure that we don't. If someone is in all of those lists, it will just get
one email.
One. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Yeah, I don't want them spamming them and get in an email 20 times. So that's fantastic. Next question is from Brian Reimer. He asks, do you have any kind of favorite SMTP services or ones? So you talked about or touched on them earlier, but is there any that kind of spring to mind? I always use one.
I mean, they all work, and Mandrill has a offer where you have 12,000 emails for free every month. So I guess that's why I'm using them, because most of my customers, they don't have any huge lists, but I use them, and I've used Mailgun, and I've used SendGrid, and all these are good.
But the one that springs to mind is Mandrill.
Yeah, if you go to the newsletterstudio.org page, we have a little some examples here as well, as you can see. So there's a lot of those services, and I guess all of them works good.
Cool. So I have another question from Ravi. He asks, do you have any issues with blacklisting when sending newsletters this way? So I suppose, you're sending out quite a lot of emails, and you're doing it in quite a short amount of time. I would imagine you could potentially get blacklisted quite quickly.
Yeah, you could if you send to people that don't want to receive your email, but if you're using a relay service, that problem isn't. It's not a problem.
So the example, like the relay service, handles that kind of side of things. I haven't as many using newsletter.
They will more make sure that you, if you're misusing their product, they will tell you. If you're misusing your own server, someone else will tell you that you're blacklisted. So it's better to use their service and to get the feedback from them. But I guess if you're just sending to valid receivers, you would probably not have a problem with that.
Okay, no, fantastic. I think we're done with questions. Is there anything you want to add or quickly squeeze in as a couple of last minutes?
Well, I have one thing I could probably tell you about extensions and extending the package.
Yeah, no, of course. Let's take a look.
It was introduced a couple of versions ago, and it means that everything inside of the package uses something called the global factory, which is instead of having dependency injection, it's a implementation of the service locator pattern or something like that. Mm-hmm. So to get the repository example for the newsletters, we're using this global factory. So what you can do is that if you don't like our way of implementing the newsletter repository, or if you would like to add some functionality on top of it, like I don't know, restricting access to different kind of emails depending on whatever. Yep. You can implement your own global factory, and then just create a little bootstrap class and tell us that we set the global factory to my global factory here, which contains these new things. So you can really fiddle around a lot with the package.
Yeah, that's really nice. So I presume, looking at the page, this is over on GitHub, and it's open source in terms of the kind of the demo contribution stuff that you're showing here.
Exactly. So I have a repository here with some examples of how to extend the package. So this is a great starting points. There's also some subscription providers for like TiaCommerce and UCommerce, and
Yeah.
So you can download them from here instead of implementing them
Yeah,
yourself.
no, that's really neat.
Yeah.
So was there anything challenging that kind of porting this from version 6 to version 7 in terms of the kind of the UI and the Angular side of things? Was there anything that was kind of challenging, or anything you would like to share with everyone else?
Yeah, I can share some learnings. I've prepared a little file here, but the biggest thing that I've learned from building this package and from teaching Umbraco Level 2 courses here in Sweden, is that when you work with something in the back office, in the new back office of Umbraco, you have to disable the cache. And the client cache, it's really annoying, and you really get frustrated. So in Chrome, how you do that is to go to the settings here and use this disable cache while DevTools is open. So when you're in this mode, the cache is disabled, and you can just work.
And do refresh, and nothing's going to get cached, and you're not scratching your head and figuring out why is it not updated.
Exactly. Yeah, that was really annoying in the beginning before I really figured out how that worked. And people tend to get pissed off at the courses as well.
I can imagine.
So this applies when you're building property editors as well, which I guess a lot of people that's more common to do.
Yeah, of course.
But it's the same thing. And otherwise, I mean, it's a lot simpler now. This has been around for a while, but you just put attributes on your classes when you want to create a new application. So this is how easy it is to add a new application to Umbraco, a new section.
Yep.
And this is how you implement the trees. It's really simple, and stuff about how it's routing the views. But I mean, all the views are just if you have installed the package and go to the app plugins folder and have a look here in the back office folder newsletter. So this is how the views look. So this is just regular HTML. Yeah. And a Angular controller.
Okay, so a few Angular directives and an Angular controller that you're kind of wiring up in Angular to do some stuff with the UI. But apart from that, we can kind of dig around with your views because they're on disk.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so you're free to look here.
Awesome.
So it's now it was really fun to work with the Umbraco 7. It's the UI is really responding very fast to stuff when you're searching and stuff like that. So it's a bless to work with.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been an enjoyable experience for you.
Yeah, even though I spent a couple of hours, it's been fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's really been fun. Yeah, I guess that's. I didn't have to really very much important. It's things about extending Umbraco, but yeah.
I suppose it makes for a good blog post.
Yeah, it does. I do have blog posts for it as well. So if you want to read about it, you can always go to my blog here.
Okay, so you've already proved these things already. You're ahead
I
of the
thought
game.
that was a good way to share my knowledge or my learnings with other people, so that they don't have to do the same mistakes that I did.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So that's over at enkelmedia.se.
Yeah, that's my website. Yeah.
So we can just hit the blog, and then we can read about some of your learnings with Angular and custom sections.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Thank you very much, Markus.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
So, I think we'll wrap up there, and it's been great talking to you, Markus. And
yeah,
I presume, no problem. I presume you're going to be at Code Garden in a couple of weeks?
I will. I've been talking a lot to the Swedish community as well to bring them there. We're famous for our beer drinking at Code Garden.
The Swedish mafia will arrive.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's the highlight of the year.
Excellent. Well, I'll see you in a couple of weeks, Markus. It's been fantastic talking, and I'll join you and the mafia with a few beers.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Fantastic. Thanks, Markus. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Just as a quick note before we wrap up here, next week we've got Matt Brailsford joining us for, and he's going to be demoing Vorto, so the new kind of Angular one-to-one translation tool that he's built for version 7. So that's next week on New Hangout. Thanks. Bye.